No one expected it. Out of all the couples viewers have watched grow, struggle, and heal on screen, Kimmi and Maurice were always the ones who seemed different. They weren't loud. They weren't messy. They weren't doing the most just to get attention. They felt like the couple who made it through the storm and stood strong together. But now, that image has shattered. Kimmi has reportedly filed for divorce, and Maurice is in panic mode begging for one more chance to save their marriage. And what's really going on behind the scenes is what has everyone talking from the beginning. Kimmi was always the calm in the chaos. When other cast members were yelling, arguing, and pointing fingers, Kimmi was steady. She was that voice of reason who never got too high or too low. She's not just a reality TV figure, she's a nurse, a businesswoman, a mother, and a survivor. When she was diagnosed with breast cancer, she didn't hide it. She let cameras into her personal journey, not for sympathy, but to help other women feel seen and supported. That kind of bravery made people love her even more. Maurice, on the other hand, has always been about business. He owns a credit repair company, talks about generational wealth, and is a licensed attorney. He's driven, focused, and very goal-oriented. For a long time, viewers saw them as a power couple, Kimmi bringing the calm, and Maurice bringing the ambition. But as time went on, it became clear that something wasn't right. What once looked like balance started to feel like distance. The strong bond everyone admired was showing cracks. It started slow. Small signs. Moments where Kimmi would speak up, but Maurice wouldn't really hear her. Times where she would say how she felt, and he'd respond with business talk or shift the topic. It was like they were living in two different spaces, Kimmi, the emotional and spiritual support of the family, and Maurice, focused on empire building. That emotional disconnect started to show more and more. Kimmi would calmly express her needs, but it was like they weren't reaching him. And that's where the trouble started growing. During her cancer journey, Kimmi didn't just need physical support. She needed emotional connection. The treatments, the fear, the exhaustion, it took a lot out of her. She still had to manage her home, support her family, and show up for everyone else. But she was hurting, and many times, she seemed to be doing it alone. She spoke about it during the show. She mentioned how Maurice wasn't always present, how he didn't always grasp how deep her pain ran. She was fighting for her life, and yet she still had to fight to be heard. Fans noticed. The once joyful and bubbly Kimmi started looking tired. Her smile didn't reach her eyes like before. She wasn't angry or bitter, just worn out. Her energy was different. Some fans online pointed out her body language in scenes with Maurice. They noticed how she looked at him, or didn't. The emotional gap between them had widened, and it was starting to feel like maybe they weren't on the same team anymore. Maurice's behavior didn't help. He often talked like a motivational speaker, using big words and positive thinking, but Kimmi didn't need a speech. She needed presence. She needed someone to sit with her in silence, to understand her pain without turning it into a lesson. There were moments where she would open up, and he would respond with logic, not empathy. That pattern of emotional mismatch played out over and over again, and then came the comment that changed everything. During an episode, Maurice made an extremely insensitive remark about intimacy while Kimmi was still recovering from cancer treatments. He said something along the lines of, "She should just bend over and take it," and the backlash was immediate. Fans were shocked. Kimmi was clearly hurt. It wasn't just a joke or a careless line, it was disrespectful, and it came at a time when she was already vulnerable. That moment marked a serious turning point. It wasn't just about marriage struggles anymore, it was about basic respect. As the season went on, Kimmi began showing more signs that she was at her limit. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't throwing accusations. But her energy was different. She started standing a little taller, speaking a little firmer. It felt like she was reclaiming something. She had spent so much time putting others first, her family, her work, her marriage, and now she was finally starting to put herself first. That quiet strength spoke volumes. Then came the rumor that changed everything. Reports began surfacing online that Kimmi had filed for divorce. It wasn't officially confirmed at first, but it spread fast. Fans started dissecting old scenes, looking for clues. They went back to past episodes and watched her expressions, her words, her tone. It all started to make sense. This wasn't a sudden breakup. This was a slow build-up. A woman who had reached her breaking point after being pushed too far for too long. The internet exploded with reactions. Some fans were shocked. Others said they saw it coming. One thing everyone agreed on: Kimmi deserved peace. After fighting cancer, managing a home, and keeping her grace under pressure, she deserved to breathe. To heal. To be seen, really seen. And maybe Maurice was finally realizing just how much he had taken for granted, because now, he's panicking. Sources close to the couple and scenes from the show suggest Maurice is begging for another chance. He's realizing that he may actually lose the one person who held everything together. He's reportedly saying he'll change. He's open to counseling. He's trying to apologize for the things he said, the things he didn't say, and the moments where he wasn't there when Kimmi needed him most. Some say it's too late, others say maybe it's not. What's clear is this: Maurice is not used to being this vulnerable. He's the guy with the plans, the goals, the speeches. But none of that matters now. What matters is that the woman he loves may be walking away for good. And for the first time, he can't just fix it with ambition. He has to show up emotionally, consistently, and humbly. Something he hasn't done in a long time. Kimmi, on the other hand, seems focused on peace. She's reportedly working on her healing, prioritizing her health, and surrounding herself with people who bring her joy. She's not bitter. She's not trying to drag anyone. She's just choosing herself, and after everything she's been through, no one can blame her. Choosing peace doesn't mean she's giving up. It means she's finally making room for something better. Her friends and castmates are starting to speak out. Some are standing by Kimmi, saying she has given more than enough and that it's time she puts herself first. Others are defending Maurice, saying he's finally waking up and realizing what he's about to lose. But the truth is, this isn't about who's right or wrong. It's about a woman who has carried so much for so long and who might be ready to lay some of that burden down. On social media, fans are divided. Some are #Team Kimmi all day. They see her as the definition of grace under pressure and believe she deserves nothing less than peace and happiness. They're proud of her for standing up, for speaking out, and for walking away if that's what's best. Others are still rooting for Maurice, hoping this scare will lead to growth and healing, not just more promises. But most fans agree on one thing: Kimmi's strength is unmatched. She's fought cancer. She's kept her family together. She's shown vulnerability without ever losing her dignity. And now, she's setting boundaries that show just how much she's grown. Whether the divorce is finalized or they decide to try one more time, the decision is hers. And people are ready to support her either way. There's a lesson here. Relationships, especially the ones in the public eye, are never as simple as they seem. We often see the highlight reels, the edited scenes, the carefully crafted images. But behind the smiles and the speeches are real people with real pain. Kimmi's story is a reminder that strength doesn't mean staying in places that drain you. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away. As the season continues and more details come out, fans will be watching closely. They want to see how Maurice responds, not just with words, but with actions. They want to see how Kimmi continues to grow, heal, and step into her next chapter. And no matter what happens between them, one thing is clear: Kimmi is going to be okay. Maybe even better than okay, because sometimes, the end of a relationship is not the end of the story. Sometimes it's the beginning of something stronger, softer, and more real. Something built not on holding it together, but on finally letting go. Let us know what you think. Is Maurice really ready to change? Should Kimmi give him another chance? Or is it time for her to start a new chapter on her own terms? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. This story isn't over, and the next chapter might be the most powerful one yet.